Always hit record.
Always.
Always.
Man.
Always hit record.
Welcome to Opinions Like Ales, everybody, your favorite pop culture podcast where we have opinions and most of them stink. My name is Michael Zampino. With me, as always, is Hilton Price.
Guten Tag, Herr Zampino.
Oh, man, you've still got it going on,
Yeah,
huh?
I'm still in Oktoberfest mode.
Still stuck in the fest.
We just wrapped up last night.
Wunderbar.
Yeah, it was. Tulsa Oktoberfest is wunderbar.
Yeah.
We ziggy
Schweinhund.
zaggy, we oi oid, we danced the chicken dance, we wore Trockton, we did other barely understandable German stuff.
I thought the last time you did the chicken dance, you got arrested.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Because you were doing it wrong.
No, I was doing it nude, which they do not like.
But they said that was the wrong part. That was the part that was wrong. They're like, everything else was right. You had all the moves right.
Nailed the damn chicken dance.
It was the floppy ding ding.
It was a little more. You're supposed to do the arms and the wiggle, but when I did the wiggle, there was a little flopple.
You clapped with your weenus on your legs.
I did. This is too much info. This is a very important episode.
This is the intro. This is the dirtiest
scary.
intro it's ever gotten.
But it was a good Oktoberfest. It was
Good.
Great. Another record-setting year. A lot of money raised for river parks. A lot of people don't know that Oktoberfest is the reason we have all that great land down by the river to run, to bike, to avoid the homeless.
Was the record for most puke?
A lot of puke.
A lot of puke
Every
year, huh?
Yeah. I actually do have a real dirty, disgusting Oktoberfest story.
Oh my God.
That I will save for next week.
Why next week?
Because we've got stuff to talk about. I don't want more viewers. I don't want listeners
up
to
the drama.
Yeah.
You don't want to just scare off more new listeners.
I'm trying to get. I want the first time listeners to be 2-time listeners, and this is how we're going to do it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We have a return guest that we haven't had in quite some time, don't we, Hilton?
They come back sometimes.
Sometimes they come back. That's what I've heard.
But this week we are Chuck Foxen from Circle Cinemas here.
Try it again.
We are so glad to have Chuck Foxen from Circle Cinema here on OLA. Welcome back
Nailed
to the show.
it. One take. The one take king.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. Honored to be here. You guys are like, this thing comes on and you guys like come alive. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's not that we're performative or anything.
No, we're not seeking the limelight.
Oh man. So Chuck, of course, is the program director. Is that your title?
I'm the director. You got me confused as well. What am I doing nowadays? I'm the film programmer and also the deputy director, which I took about a year ago, the deputy director. So pretty busy nowadays.
And that is of Circle Cinema, local,
nearly 100-year-old theater here in Tulsa, near First and Lewis, and right on the edge of Midtown.
Yeah, we just celebrated. This is our 95th year.
95th. Okay, so we're still 5 out
95.
from 100. Okay,
That's exciting.
and the birthday is is it like July 14th?
Yeah,
18th?
exactly.
Is it 14th?
July 14th.
Awesome. Yeah, I knew it was right by my birthday.
So we can do fireworks 10 days later. We can set off all the ones we didn't set off on the 4th.
Exactly. In fact, in 5 years, save your fireworks.
For the next 5 years, save the surplus of every July 4th. Everything you don't set off, all the snakes.
You're going to want to
all
set
the
them off on the 6th
sparklers.
and 7th.
Don't do it.
Restrain that urge. Save them for Circle Cinema's 100th birthday.
For legality purposes, I'll say that I am kidding because it is illegal to set off fireworks in the city limits of Tulsa.
And quick reminder, don't set them off at the Circle. Get away from the building.
Absolutely not.
because
Nowhere
it is
near.
It is a historic building.
Cannot have
that we
any
want to
sparks
preserve.
or anything. Too many things catching fire lately.
And Circle Cinema is a great example of kind of how in communities over time, parts of a community kind of get forgotten. They kind of get left behind. And then you have people that come around and be like, no, this is part of our history. This needs to be saved, preserved. New love, attention, money, funding needs to be put into it and brought it back. Because there was a time when the Circle was not operating the way it is now. It wasn't a fully functioning, wonderful theater with live events. We did comedy there celebrating Peter Bedgood's art and Evan Hughes' shows a few weeks back. Our friend of the show, Josh Fadem, has his Noir Nights there, so you have special events. And, of course, you can just see your blockbuster movies like Killers of the Flower Moon, which is there right now.
Right. Yeah. The cinema, that's a big part of what we do is try to reach out to the community. When we go to festivals, we're looking for films that we think will resonate with the community. And then we can pitch those to nonprofit or organized community groups to make those connections, to bring them in to all the added stuff that we do with film.
Yeah. And not only do you have a chance to see blockbuster movies like you would at any theater, but when you have kind of special event films that aren't always going to go to the AMC, you guys have a good chance of getting them there at Circle. Like I've had a chance to see movies that I wouldn't see anywhere else because I went to Circle Cinema.
Yeah, we did a screening of The Room there a couple of years back, and I've been very sad to have missed the last couple because I had shows on both nights of the last 2 times it happened.
Wow.
And yeah, I was super bummed because that is one of my favorite things I've ever gone to there.
Yeah.
That was so much fun.
Well, and we did
the last one had fucking Greg Sestero
was
there.
here. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I was so pissed.
Have you guys ever been seen together in the same room though?
Me and Sestero?
Yeah.
No, do we look alike?
Well, I was wondering if you were like Greg or Tommy.
Oh, because I've
the
missed
real
it.
one. Yeah.
That's what it is.
No, Greg's in way better shape.
Yeah, very handsome.
So's Tommy, actually.
Yeah, but nobody knows what Jimmy goes to. It's part of the Tommy mystery. Just like
That's true.
Where's he from? Where does he work out?
Where does he get his mummy? Where does he get the money?
Where does he
And
get his muscles?
Where does he get the mummies? And where does he get the muscles?
Quick sidebar. So I bought the Lego Raiders of the Lost Ark set last week. And I tell you this because when I was looking at the set, it comes with an Indiana Jones, and it comes with a Marion Ravenwood, and it comes with a
Tight.
Sala, because of course it should.
It has to.
And then it comes with a mummy. Like bandaged monster mummy.
Was there a mummy in Raiders?
There was not.
I didn't think
There
so.
were snakes, there was artifacts, there was the Ark of the Covenant, there was a shit ton of Nazis. There were no mummies.
Wow, the marketing team.
I mean, listen,
Right?
if you're making, what was this? This was toys? you
Legos.
said? Legos,
Lego,
okay.
yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, if you're the marketing team at Lego and it's down to mummies or Nazis, you probably go mummies.
That's probably it, huh?
Yeah, they were like, fuck, I mean, Lego Snake? We've done that.
So the boss comes over and he's like, Jim, what do you do? There's no mummies in Raiders of the Lost Ark. And he looks up and he goes, boss, it was that or Nazi? Great mummy, Jim. You're doing a hell of a job here. But anyway, but Circle Cinema, we went to the Noir Nights a couple weeks ago, and that's put on by Josh Fadum, and that's a chance to see like classic black and white movies from the film noir era.
My absolute favorite part of the entirety of the night was the second film. What was that? Armored Car Robbery.
Yeah,
where Charles McGraw plays the cop, and his partner has been murdered. He's deceased, dead, no longer with us.
Yep.
No longer breathing, and his attempt to comfort the wife of said partner is, "Tough break, Marge." That's the actual line he said to the woman in grief. And then she says, well, if it's bad for me, you're his partner, or something along those lines.
did,
That was
yeah.
basically like, yeah, I mean, I'm his wife and all, but you were his partner. It must be super rough for you. And I was like, oh my God, this is fucking hilarious.
it's like quintessential.
yeah,
noir,
quintessential
yeah.
like misogyny.
Well, and it makes me wonder though. I mean, was that kind of like back in the day? Did a man have a closer relationship with his buddy on the job than he did his wife at home?
That was the extent of a male expressing feelings was, hey, tough break, Marge.
Yeah.
And they're like, he's basically in tears.
That's why she was so understanding.
I've never seen a man so vulnerable.
She's like, I can tell he's really hurt. No man.
I wonder what the real life world was like versus them projecting
Oh,
Yeah.
what they
absolutely.
want it to be or what they think it should be.
Let's go find some old people and ask.
Yeah. It's a little bit of mix, but it's probably a little more.
Walk up to I want to walk up to an old, like go to a retirement home and be like, hey, let's hypothetically, your partner dies and you're comforting his wife. What do you say? Tough break, kid.
What else would I say? Tough break.
Sucks to be you.
And you don't even realize like how long ago those movies were made. Both of those movies were, I think they were 48 and 49.
Was that right? Okay.
Because I remember getting home that night and looking them up, and I was telling my mom lives with me,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to tell her, we saw a couple of movies. Maybe you knew them when you were young.
Mm-hmm.
And I look up the list, and I was like, oh, never mind. These are before your time. Like, these are really old movies.
I mean, the art form has evolved.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
so
yeah.
like, it probably was a little like that, but just the expression, how the actors, portrayed the lines maybe, or the way it was written and all that kind of stuff. So
the way that things were shot too, the way they would like hang on things for like just fucking long time, like hanging like on a shot that has no relevance to really anything, and you're like, man, they're hanging on this ladder for a hot minute or something like that, you know.
A lot of letting scenes breathe, a lot of scene settings, slow pans. I mean, and of course you mentioned The Room too, which had lots of slow pans as well, but that was a different kind of filmmaking.
San Francisco
the
Bridge.
Golden Gate Bridge, yeah. But I mean, it really was. It was as much educational. Because for guys like me, like I'm a blockbuster Marvel movie guy. Like I'm not watching cinema,
art house.
I'm not watching the stuff Scorsese says I'm supposed to. But when I do, I get a chance to be like, oh yeah, there's so much more to it than the CGI nonsense. And this was such a great example of, like you say, the evolution of the art form, Chuck. It was a chance to see how much things have changed and kind of the base that the building blocks of movie making were built off of. And it's really cool.
Yeah, it's like I guess like anything where you're like, after a few examples, they're like, okay, cool. So now we know what not to do here. So let's not hang on those scenes so long.
Right.
What's the next thing that's coming up that you're the most excited for? I'm always interested to know, like, the person that's putting it on, like, what gets you pumped?
Yeah, there's a musician in Tulsa named Dustin Howard.
Yeah, that's my homie.
Okay, so Dustin does these live scores.
Oh yeah, he's doing another one. Is it December?
Yeah, we're calling it a science fiction spectacle.
Hell yeah!
And he's big into like aliens and.
That reminds me, I need to talk to you about a date to get him on before that show that he's talking about.
Okay,
to get Dustin back on for that.
So pretty stoked about that one. So he does that, and then he does Foxen.
Okay,
the 1921 film. Those two are so fun and really interactive with lighting, and we got some lasers, we got a smoke machine, and that live performance down front is just really cool. It's like immersive experience.
The idea itself really got me when Dustin told me about it. For the listeners, this will be Dustin basically playing a score that he's composed that's different from the score of the movie, correct?
Say it again. He's doing a live.
And it's not the original score. He's doing his own. He's
doing his own thing.
Yeah, so he's sort of like making his own score and playing it live while the movie is screening. Very fucking cool idea. Love that.
Yeah, that sounds great.
So he's doing that Foxen, which we did last year, which is kind of that witchcraft film. We did the 100th anniversary last year, and that one has a nice narrative that goes over the film, which we leave on, and so Dustin plays on that. It's so cool and weird.
Yeah, Dustin's incredibly talented. I love that. I love that guy. We've known each other for about 20 years now, going back to the rock and roll days.
Nice.
So those live scores, and then we just got back from Toronto, the founder Clark Weens and I, and so those films release immediately after Toronto. So there's a bunch of stuff coming up. So some of my favorites were like Holdovers, which was amazing. I just loved it. It's a story about it's Paul Giamatti. He's a kind of the teacher in charge, and then all the kids go home, and there's like a student left and the housekeeper.
We watched the trailer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this looked good.
It's like one of the warmest feeling films if you watch that, and it doesn't have the outer shell of it is not warm if you see the scenario, but then it's so warm. It's like the perfect kind of holiday.
Was this the one that we said felt like a Paul Thomas Anderson or something?
It had a very classic feel to it, and maybe it was in just the way the film looked or what.
Is it set in like the 70s?
Yeah, 60s, 70s, something like that. I think so.
I was going to say, if it's not, it felt like it as far as how it's shot and everything.
Yeah, we remember talking about it was a couple of things. Paul Giamatti's character starts off very cantankerous, doesn't he?
Yeah, and then the student that gets left over is as well.
Yeah.
So it's two people that are the same, and you kind of dig a little deeper and find out why they are the way they are. And there's a lot of similarities and connections there. So it's a young version and an old version of someone that's a little, what's the term I'm trying to think of? Just a little grumpy.
Acerbic or something.
1970.
But it's an Alexander Payne film.
Okay.
Is that the guy who did Sideways?
Yeah, Nebraska.
Nebraska was good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I only saw that once. I need to revisit that.
But yeah, you can even see as we watch it here. I remember we commented on how it reminded us of something that had been shot in like the 80s or 70s because it just the coloring looked different than what we were used to from modern films.
Little grain. I think they shot on
Grainy.
film too, so it's a little grainy.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
And the color scheme,
Yeah.
a
Just
lot of brown. A lot of tans and browns.
beautiful film. So saw that. Also saw Harmony Korine's new film,
Oh wow.
Aggro Drift, which was like insane. Have you watched the
Yeah,
trailer?
no,
for it?
I haven't seen.
You-
There's
no.
a trailer for it. Let's
Yeah.
find that.
Dig
Okay.
into that one, and it's hyper visual. It's shot in like,
I was obsessed with Harmony Korine for a little while. That guy's insane.
yeah, we have
such
one
a-
of his films coming out.
Oh, do you really?
I thought I muted my computer. Never mind.
No, let's watch this.
you wanna watch
Oh, is
it?
it pretty long?
It's a little bit over 2 minutes. You want to? Let's do a pause. Watch it real quick, and then we can get back on mic.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's try that. That was wild. So we're not sure we watched the actual trailer, but what we saw was everything we did see in the movie,
No,
Okay.
no, it's all that really hyper stylized,
like in the beginning.
or infrared. It's all
Yeah.
shot in infrared. That was what I was looking for.
And so there's never any like normal looking.
No.
Wow.
So the
that's-
whole time I was sitting in the theater and it's just blasting these vibrant colors. It's amazing,
wow.
and it's really kind of like a video game.
It feels like it's gotta be like a ride almost.
It is. It was fun. I didn't want to get up.
I mean, that's a
Really?
Harmony
Wow.
Korine movie for you.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, and I don't know. So we in what we watched, there was that spinning skull thing, and then after that, there was some real intense kind of noise that almost kind of startled me.
Me too. Yeah, I won't lie. I jumped a little bit.
Like right, like I'm a
Yeah,
little like
I was like,
I'm a little spooked, and there's nothing spooky happening.
yeah, it's
you
not
know?
supposed to be scary. I don't think.
Wow.
I don't know. Maybe.
It's exciting. It's kind of like the kind of, it fills this spot that we've been needing in independent cinema for just something weird and crazy just to go escape into.
Yeah,
We haven't had anything like that in a while.
something that's an experience.
Do you know what it reminded me of?
What?
Do you remember in The Office where Gabe plays the scary movie he made?
Yep.
And he's like, "Oh, it's almost as if the filmmaker noticed that even narrative is comforting."
Yeah. Well, and that's one thing, you know, like I talked a few minutes ago about how I'm a Marvel guy, you know, like I'm getting spoon fed.
Something like this isn't in your wheelhouse.
That's real challenging for me. But it's the kind of thing too that like part of me knows like you can't always eat, you know, Frosted Flakes.
True.
You gotta mix it up. You gotta because then that's how you appreciate things. So
Have you seen Gummo?
no, but you've told me a little bit
That
about
that
Gummo.
would be
one's
the
wild,
one
too.
Harmony Korine movie that I'm like, it's the one where it's almost you don't want to see it, you have to see it.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those movies where if I was to just describe it to you,
Which you have.
you would be like, that's a dream you had. That's not a movie.
Yeah, all I remember is you telling me about he's taking a bath in like a bunch of pasta or something.
No, he's eating spaghetti while he's in a dirty bath.
That's what it is.
And
Just
there's
as
like
gross.
a weird spoon taped to the wall or something.
Yeah, well, and he also at one point tapes up a bunch of silverware and uses those as dumbbells while his mom tap dances behind him.
You know that you guys are in luck though, because that movie is playing at Circle November 30th
November
as
30th.
part of Cinedoom.
Put it on the calendar. We're going.
Cinedoom?
November 30th. We're gonna go see Gummo. That's a movie that we were like, me and my friends back in the day. We were obsessed with that movie. We watched it all the fucking time. We quoted it constantly. We would just constantly be walking around being like, "I fucking hate rabbits."
Man. What is Cinedoom?
So you know how like Josh Vadem programs this noir program series. So also we have other kind of opportunities and work with filmmaker Black Horse Low, which is
Okay.
also Native American filmmaker,
Yeah.
also Tulsa Artist Fellowship. Did some of the Reservation Dogs.
Yep, I was gonna say he
some of
directed
those.
an episode of that, yeah.
And just like super smart dude, like just talented.
Okay.
He's doing a lot of stuff. He's got a bunch of projects going right now, but he programs the Cinedoom, and he's got like a double feature coming up. I think he's got 2 double features coming up. What do we got coming up? Repo Man
cool.
this month. And
That's a good
he
one.
puts together some cool stuff. We try to do everything on 35 millimeter.
Yeah.
So Gummo's on 35.
nice.
This one coming up, Repo Man's on 35.
Now, and for someone like me that's not a traditional film guy, what's the attraction of 35 millimeter?
To make it really simple,
Sure.
Well, it's kind of the gold standard at Circle Cinema. First off,
Yes. Yeah,
secondly,
I've seen films there in 35 and known that I was seeing something that I should appreciate, but just for the layman, for the
it's just the enjoyment of analog versus digital,
Yeah.
It's vinyl versus MP3.
or burning the candle or having an LED little ding 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 ding.
Right.
You know?
there's a little more of the humanity of the creation there.
Yeah,
It's more raw. It's more it's kind of like listening to like the music production of like the first At the Drive-In album versus like an Elton John album. You know, like they're gonna sound very fucking different as far as production and sound and all that stuff.
As far as like the quality of the film, I mean, the digital nowadays we have laser projection on all of our projectors. It looks amazing. It's crisp, looks perfect.
Oh, yeah.
It's stable. If you put 35 millimeter on, the film's jiggling around and there's imperfections on there. The sound pops every once in a while.
Okay.
There's a lot of weird little things going on, and we do everything we have to do nowadays. You have to do reel to reel.
When the second you said the sound pops, I immediately went back and was like, I haven't heard that noise in so fucking long, but it is a noise that like you just know it subconsciously.
Yeah,
And
like
I think,
a record.
and I mean, growing up in the 80s, that was more common. So, that to me just feels, that's just going to the movies. Sometimes there's a little bit of a jiggle on the screen because of the film. Sometimes there's a little bit of an audio imperfection, but that's just part
You
of the
haven't
movie.
even noticed that it's gone.
That it's gone. Exactly.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
A little fire in the projection booth.
A little accidentally burn a theater down. Got to go. Yeah. But
Or on purpose,
but
Inglorious Bastards.
that's true. But that's the thing, and maybe that's why it's maybe subconscious for someone like me that I go and I see a movie at Circle and I appreciate it, but it's not a thing that's surface level because it's kind of just harkening back to seeing movies as a kid and getting that experience again.
Oh yeah. Were you like a theater kid? Like were you always at the movie theater when you were kids? You said you didn't get to go a ton.
No.
I went a lot because that was the thing that but I didn't until like middle school. Middle school was when I met my best friend Joe, and he was just a moviegoer all the time. And so like a lot of times like that would be the thing that I would spend money on is just going to see the movie. Yeah. And I was there a ton.
Yeah, always loved it. I think for myself, my love came more in like the movie rental.
Oh
watch
yes.
at home.
Yep.
That's where
Blockbuster
I had way
was an
more
experience. Yeah.
Had that kind of experience, even into like my 20s, going and finding the one Sundance film on the counter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I remember my growing up, my mom was very young when she had me, and so she would I would spend every Friday night at my grandmother's house, and for years the routine was she'd pick me up, we'd go to Blockbuster, we'd get a movie, we'd get candy, and then we'd stop and get food somewhere, and then we'd go home, and it was like every Friday. So every Friday, going to Blockbuster, looking through, going up, can I get this one? No, and then going back and picking another one because you can't get the R-rated movie. But Grandma was really cool about letting me watch horror movies though, because she was like, "Oh, that's just scary." She just didn't want me to see any like nudity. But even though I was like, there's some nudity in some of those, like Friday the 13th. It's got some boobies.
Well, and there was a period from like 85 to 95, like every movie had some boobs or every movie had a sex scene. Like,
we've talked many times about how many PG movies had tits.
yeah.
Like it was wild.
Well, and I didn't realize it until I started seeing the conversation happening around Oppenheimer. And Oppenheimer's got a sex scene apparently between Robert and his wife in the movie.
Oh, I was going to say between the guy and the bomb.
Maybe, I think maybe it's his mistress. I don't remember. But
He's going to fuck that bomb.
Well, a lot of people don't know that's why the bomb exploded. It was actually meant to do charity work.
It was originally called Koppenheimer.
So And one of the articles I was reading was talking about how that was kind of unique to put a scene like that in a movie nowadays. And I was like, oh, yeah, you don't see that as much anymore. But I can't tell you growing up how often I had to awkwardly sit next to my parents watching a movie while people are doing it on screen. And I was
yeah.
What was the point of that? Were we just not getting it enough at home that we all needed to have sex on the big screen? Like,
No, they just didn't care back then.
maybe that's what it was.
It really was. They were just like, yeah, whatever. I mean, people fuck.
But I also think
There's no penetration. Who cares?
If you think about studios back then, they're trying to sell it constantly, and I could see them being like,
Sex
the
sells.
dude needs to, let's have something for the man. We need to have the sex scene in there.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
And then guess what's on the cover?
Yep. Hot chicks on a sports car,
Right.
with fire.
Yep.
So
and that's a
would
rom com.
Yeah, I think a lot probably have to do with that too.
Yeah, that's a good point. Probably trying to make it as
There was
marketable as
such
possible.
there was such a long time where like 90% of movies were just made strictly for men because they were like, obviously this is the entirety of our demographic.
Yeah, but then I guess the sex scene might have been to show some romance for the woman, so mom can have a scene for her too.
Could
That's
be,
true.
Yeah.
could be.
Huh?
This is what you're not getting at home, ladies.
I need to apply.
This is what Tom Selleck can do for you.
This is the thinking I'm not doing in my role at marketing at Tulsa Ballet that I need to be doing more of.
More
is what can we
wieners
do
and
for the
boobs.
other members of the? Yeah, exactly. Like we've got Don Quixote coming up. Maybe we also need a couple of topless ladies. To
Maybe
come
it
out.
could be Dong Quixote.
Yeah, you're right. Don Quixote is already for the fellas. Dude on an adventure, chasing after a lady. That's a guy story.
Yeah.
Don Quixote, now there's something for the ladies, too.
That's right. Because he is hung.
I got to tell you, next week, they're either going to promote me or I'm going to need a new job. But one of
Well,
those
well.
for sure.
I'm going to high five you either way.
Just make sure the promotion comes with a pay raise.
That's
Yes,
right. That's right.
Or the new job comes with a pay raise. But one of those for sure.
Fingers crossed.
We're
Fingers
calling
crossed.
this episode Don Quixote now, right?
I think we have to.
Okay, cool. Oh, no. We watched a couple of trailers today. We watched one that we won't talk about just yet, but the other one was called American Fiction. It looks badass.
Yeah, I just want to, off the gate, talk about Orion here because with the second we saw the Orion Films logo, I got very nostalgic. And I did look it up, and we were right. They did only put out stuff until 99, but they were just recently purchased by Amazon MGM.
I just saw that on the bottom of that logo.
Yeah,
trailer.
the Amazon MGM company, right? Yeah. That's wild.
So just going to throw some of these notable, some of their most notable stuff from back in the day was
Orion.
the original Terminator, RoboCop, Throw Mama from the Train, Dirty
wow.
Rotten Scoundrels, Caddyshack, Something Wild, UHF, the Bill and Ted movies, Platoon, Dances with Wolves, Silence of the Lambs. Orion was pumping them out back then.
Yeah.
Damn.
I know.
And they were pumping out good stuff too. Arthur, Amadeus.
Little F. Murray Abraham in there.
Married to the Mob.
I wonder if they did they do? They probably didn't do the third Bill and Ted because that was just a couple years
I
ago.
don't think so. Yeah. They
were
did the
just
first
bought.
two.
Wow.
So let's see. Their highest grossers were Dances with Wolves, Silence of the Lambs, Addams Family, First Blood, Terminator, Throw Mama from a Train, RoboCop, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and Original Bill and Ted.
I don't remember. Oh, First Blood's Rambo. Duh. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. I was like, what is First Blood? And then I see
Yeah,
Rambo
people
there.
just called it Rambo First Blood, but technically it was just called First Blood,
Yeah, because the second one was actually Rambo First Blood Part 2.
right?
Yeah.
And people were so fucking confused. How's it First Blood Part 2? Jesus.
It's funny. That's not a series that I ever really got into. But series like that and the weird changes that they made over time sometimes as they learned what the marketable part of a film was, that's one of the things that did get me into movies as I got into high school and college. But it was stuff like when you learn that Back to the Future 2 and 3 were filmed at the same time. And I was curious, okay, well, what can I see in Back to the Future 1 that makes it so separated that I can tell that things are the same in 2 and 3? You know,
Crispin Glover.
looking for this exactly. Looking for the strings, looking for the puppeteer strings. And another one to me was the Star Wars movies. The special editions came out when I was in high school, where they added the new stuff to the original 3 movies.
Oh, yeah.
And now most of that stuff's derided. People don't typically like the Jabba walking around scene in the first Star Wars, or the new musical number at Jabba's palace in Jedi, you know, which is permanently stuck in my head. I can hear that little grumbly dude singing right now, but we won't get into that. But as a kid or as a teen or college or whatever, well, you're a young person, I loved that stuff. The idea that these filmmakers would go back and make changes and still play with it like it was kind of like a living document fascinated me.
Well, we were also just blown away that they could do it too. It was like, you know, the fact that the film technology was to the point where they could digitally add walking Jabba or whatever the hell else. You know, we were like, what?
Or
you can do that?
Fix the scenes on Hoth so you can't see through the ship's parts, because it was actually like, you know, the way they did that overlay, the matte overlay was.
Oh, I don't really remember that.
Yeah.
You guys might be headed towards the strike conversations with the AI.
Right? Yeah. and that's the thing, is that it's all kind of connected. So the stuff, you know, you appreciate computer effects on one end, but then when they're like, well, the computer's going to write the script now, you're like, okay, back the train up a little bit.
Yeah, we stand with the unions.
Oh, absolutely.
This looking at this First Blood poster reminds me of watching that Arnold Schwarzenegger doc, when it kind of talked a little bit about his career when Arnold and Stallone were kind of, they were like the masculine men that were saving the world. They were both competing.
Oh yeah,
harshly against each other.
Oh sure,
for these films, and so this was his kind of probably Commando, a 1982
absolutely.
Commando film.
Yeah.
And then they started sort of poking fun at it later. Like, do you remember in Last Action Hero? Do you remember that movie?
Yeah.
So in Last Action Hero, when they're in the movie or in the blockbuster, and they see the Terminator poster, and it's
Terminator
Stallone.
2, but it's Stallone.
But it's Stallone on it
as the T-800.
And I think he laughs at it or something. Like, yeah, there's. There's one in Twins too.
Is there?
In Twins, he walks by a Stallone poster, and he like looks at him, and then he flexes his muscle that's much bigger, and just like and walks on.
Oh, that's fun.
A little diss.
Hell yeah, a little nut punch.
I will never. The scene where in Last Action Hero, so Schwarzenegger plays the action hero in
Jack
the movie,
Slater.
Jack Slater, and he gets pulled out of the movie. And
the kid gets pulled into the movie first.
And then they both get pulled out of the movie.
Correct.
And they go to the kid's house. And I'll never forget when Arnold introduces himself to Danny's mom.
Mercedes Rule, I believe.
Okay. Well, he introduces himself as Arnold Braunschweiger.
I am Arnold Braunschweiger.
And that will be stuck in my head.
It was the funniest thing in the world at that moment.
Yeah.
I saw that movie in the theater, and I remember me and my friend Chris standing up and headbanging when Megadeth played.
Oh, yeah. That's Angry Again.
That's right.
Yeah, which
That's
they played
right.
live when we saw them a couple months back. Also,
That was rad. I did not expect to hear that song.
Yeah. And I will say, Last Action Hero, besides being very campy
I
and
love
silly
that
and
movie.
fun, is worth a watch just to see Charles Dance just chewing the scenery as the villain in that movie.
Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah, before he was on what's the medieval show on HBO? Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Yeah. He was
Before he was
Lannister. Tywin Lannister.
Tywin.
Yeah. Yeah. Not
Tyrion was
Tyrion
Dinklage.
was Dinklage, yes. Yeah. But
Anyway.
don't watch that show. Go to Circle and watch something worthwhile.
I think at the end of going back to Arnold and Sylvester, I
Yeah.
think that Arnold ended up winning the life competition.
Well, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
He got to be a governor.
He held office, yeah.
Married Maria Shriver.
And then the Tulsa King kind of just like shit on us, and then now I'm like,
He really dumped on us too. First off, the show shit on us, and then he shit on us personally when he was like
5 degrees.
It's too fucking hot. It's fucking Oklahoma. It's too fucking hot. I sweat too much, but I'm fucking greasy.
Yeah. Aren't you from L.A.?
I'm made of olive.
even
LA doesn't get above like 85.
Yeah, but the
though.
last time it was rained was 82 when Commando came out.
but he's
But it
been in
doesn't
other
get
places. You know, what I mean?
Oh,
He's been
yeah.
in New York, which is gonna get hot. And
Yeah, right.
travel.
Didn't you go to the desert for at least one of your movies, motherfucker? Like, some of those scenes
Texas.
in Rambo had to be hotter. Yeah.
I can't hate on Tulsa King though. I did like that show.
You did?
I did.
I couldn't even finish the first episode.
Cut that out.
I hated it. Yeah.
the real part. We're gonna edit out.
Oh man. So Schwarzenegger's son has been in a couple shows that we've been watching lately. He's in the new Gen V, which is the boys
the
spinoff.
boys spinoff. Yeah.
He looks nothing like Arnold to me.
Oh, really?
At all. Like, except for his name. I would not know that they were related at all. What's his name? Patrick Schwarzenegger.
Oh wow, yeah. Oh, I've seen him. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
done things.
He doesn't look like Arnold.
He does
At
not.
all.
He does. He looks. He's very.
I wonder if he
And he doesn't look like
what if that's an insecurity of his.
it doesn't look like
I don't look
Maria
like my
either.
father.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like Maria either.
Huh.
I guess he does look more like Maria if you were to put one of them.
Man.
Yeah, he's been in some
I
shit.
wonder what I've seen him on. Nothing's ringing a bell here. I don't know.
So the first thing that I remembered him from was the Staircase series. And then, now he's on Gen V.
Oh, he's very handsome.
I haven't seen him in any of those movies, though.
All right. Well, cool. How's Gen V?
So far, it's really good. We're, I think, 3 episodes in. It's definitely keeping with some of the way The Boys is done as far as like the gore level and some of the comedy.
Yeah.
Some of the silliness and the way it's sort of like meta in within itself. Like there's fake commercials for their stuff. I'm digging it. I like that world that they built a lot. Have you watched any of that, The Boys?
No, I've not.
That's a good one.
I'll tell you one I wrapped up this week, and I got to throw this out there since I besmirched our good Oklahoma name by mentioning I like Tulsa King, is I wrapped up and absolutely adored the end of the 3rd season of Reservation Dogs this week. That show is a top 5 show for me.
Wow.
And not for like through lines, although there are some storylines that run through the whole show, but just because every episode you never knew what you were going to get.
Okay.
There were some incredibly funny episodes. There were some incredibly heartbreaking episodes. There were ones that were not necessarily on any end of the spectrum, but were just powerful in their own way. I came to love characters in that show who I never would have thought I was going to have feelings for. Like, her first name escapes me right now, but Bear's mom and the story of her in the 3rd season pursuing some new career changes. And coming to terms with her
No spoilies.
friend group that she grew up with and the changes that happened there, and one of them that was no longer with them. I mean, as a guy in my mid-40s and, who's looking back on his youth and looking ahead, of course, with my mom living with me, thinking about aging and what happens, it was nice to kind of see some of these stories that I feel are often ignored in television, and people and ages and groups that are often ignored. And I know that was the goal of this show, to really tell stories from the indigenous community and the indigenous community of Oklahoma. But I felt like I was getting stories about, being a middle-aged parent that I had never heard before, and
Or
stories.
never really like connected to somehow.
Yeah, and it
I
was.
can tell you those.
I don't want to hear yours though.
But I'm a middle-aged parent.
But and I just think that it touched on these things in ways that I hadn't seen before on television, and I really appreciated it. And
That was the first time I've ever out loud referred to myself as middle-aged, and it feels weird.
It does feel weird.
I needed to get that out.
yeah, it's weird.
It felt fucking weird to say that.
I'm sorry, buddy, but
It's okay.
but you are.
I'm definitely going to go back and finish Reservation Dogs, especially now that I can just binge it all.
Yeah.
Because I was really, really digging it. And it was one of those shows that when I stopped watching it, it was for no other reason than just other shit started happening, and I just never went back. And then I do remember making a conscious decision, though, that when season 3 started, I was like, I'm going to wait until season 3's over, and then I'm going to just watch it all.
Yeah.
So now that it's all out, I'm going to watch it all.
There's a huge group of talented filmmakers that really haven't had the shots to do this stuff, which were given, a decent budget. I'm guessing from Disney.
Yeah.
And it seems like they were able to tell pure, honest stories the way they wanted to tell them without a lot of pushback from them.
Yeah.
So with those ingredients, what came out of it was really authentic storytelling from like a core community, the Native American community in small or even big cities. Like a lot of people can connect with it. And then, even like Lane Factor, he wasn't even an actor. His mom talked him into acting.
Which one was he?
I think it's Cheese, right?
Cheese.
Okay.
Which is based on a kid that we grew up with in Holdenville.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Funny kid. Yeah. But, it's beautiful. I hope that, because that came out of the social justice stuff. So distributors were like, we have to start supporting this stuff finally. You know, Sterling's been making films for a long time and doing some great stuff. He's a talented person, talented filmmaker. And so, you know, now that he has this, like, now he's elevated.
Sure.
He's probably going to be fine. But he's helped all these other people rise up around him. And I think it's just great for, you know, you've seen all these, now there's some like indigenous TV series popping up, other ones popping up.
Yeah.
So hopefully they keep supporting like they should, because, you know, people want to see that content and you can connect with it. And, you know, Native Americans are people too, and we can connect. We're all the same. It's not like they're, you know, the stereotype stuff. So.
I think what'll be important is as far as longevity goes is to see, like, because oftentimes, not necessarily in film, but in other areas of life or in entertainment, sometimes like one opportunity will sort of open a door, but then the society, I don't know what you would call it, just kind of says, okay, we got that now, and then sort of closes it and we move on. But it's really important, like you said, now that door opened, making sure that as many people as possible shove their fucking way through and make sure that door stays open.
Yeah.
And that it stays open for everybody going forward.
There's a lot of like young Native American filmmakers coming up, even here locally, that are like making big impacts. So I have no doubt that they've put their stake down and they're not going to go back.
Yeah, good.
They're going to keep moving forward.
Good. I want to see it.
Well, yeah, and you know, and as someone who grew up in predominantly white suburbs, you know, it's so easy to have preconceived notions about other communities, and to have those things shattered by seeing stories as true to life as you know these makers can make them was not only educational, but it also helped reminded me about the unifying factors between all people. You know, fear for our kids, fear for the next generation, fear for our parents and our elders. You know, these are things that every community faces, and to see how they were dealt with on that show. It helped me address things in my own life. It helped me reflect, and I'm making talking a lot about little moments that happen over the course of watching 3 seasons of a TV show, but that adds up and it builds up, and then you think about it in quiet moments in your own life, and hopefully you pull something away from it. And it was that kind of show for me that I pulled a lot away from.
You know, it's funny. Ironically, it kind of ties back to the movie that we barely started talking about, though. Is the idea of a door needing to open in the world of books
and the expectations of community,
and and also the expectations from others of that community when they open that door. In that this one sort of seems like the white community says, "Oh, we're going to open the door for black authors," but when they bring forward books that aren't, quote, black enough for them, then you know there's pushback, and this movie seems to be sort of attempting to tackle that.
I don't know that we mentioned the title, American Fiction.
Hypocrisy. Yeah.
American Fiction, starring Jeffrey Wright as an author, a black author who's writing what seems like, from the way it's told, a quality book, but a book that isn't stereotypically black enough for his publisher's tastes.
Right. The language, the
themes,
the slang, all of those things.
Yeah. And his publishers push him to make something that is a lot more kind of following a stereotype, and it sells like hotcakes.
It's sort of the reverse of Sorry to Bother You. Where in Sorry to Bother You, they're putting on their white voice. This is sort of the reverse of that.
And that's funny,
I dig
too.
it.
I got a bit of a similar vibe to that. And this seems like it's going to be a very different movie.
A lot less weird.
Yeah. But in the
Did you see Sorry to Bother You?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. But this seems like it's going to have a lot to say about kind of the expectations that, again, that white communities put on other communities. And
Chuck, did you say you did get to see this one?
No,
you haven't yet.
No,
okay,
there's a lot of hype around it, so I knew it was going to be something big. And then when I got back, I saw that it had won the Toronto International Audience Award.
Yeah, I think it was the People's Choice or something
People's
like that.
Choice, yeah. So,
but you said you're going to be screening it?
We are screening. I think the release date is December, early December.
Go to circlecinema.org and just keep an eye out for that. Yeah, I'm definitely going to catch a screening of that there because this really did catch me. Like, I thought this looked fantastic.
It's touching on conversations like this. It's like an interesting story that it's the perfect time to want to see it for it to be made.
Yeah, I just glanced down and noticed that it's directed by the Good Place's Cord Jefferson.
I don't recognize that name. Who is he involved with that show?
I'm looking it up, but I know that my wife adores.
I like the Good
Place.
It was a lot of fun.
He's an American writer, director, journalist, and essayist.
Okay,
Yeah, so take that.
take that, other writers.
He's won an Emmy, an NAACP Image Award, and a Writers Guild of America Award.
Worked on The Watchmen.
So suck on that, high school teachers that said he wouldn't amount to anything.
Watchmen. Oh, sorry, you just talked about the TV series, the HBO series, set in Tulsa. Wasn't it set in Tulsa?
Based in Tulsa.
Yeah, based in Tulsa, yeah.
Not shot here.
Nope, no, shot in Georgia.
I met with their core creative crew came into Circle Cinema, and when they came in, we showed them the theater because they were looking for locations.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
kind of the image, like what would the Dreamland Theater have looked like?
Okay.
So we went to one that was where maybe like 3 miles east of where Dreamland was.
Yeah.
So they came and looked at a similar historic theater. They fell in love with the pipe organ, and the opening scene of the film was on a pipe organ. It was the first black cowboy from Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They were showing his film on screen, and then the pipe organ down front, down center. So it was kind of, I think it was kind of based on the Circle's pipe organ, that opening scene of it.
Nice.
So that's nice, a
Love
nice
that.
touch.
And then I saw with all the TV award stuff, I was like, oh, they were at the Circle. I didn't really know who they were.
Oh, right on. That's wild. Cool.
I started that series. I never finished it. I don't remember what happened, but I fell off.
man,
It was
that
good. It
was
was
good.
good.
It was very good.
Yeah, it wasn't for lack of powerful storytelling at all. And I'm not even a Don Johnson guy, but he was pretty good in that from what I saw.
Oh, I fucking forgot he was in that.
He is.
Yeah.
He's in the first episode. I should,
Spoilers.
He may have been in others. I don't know. Maybe I didn't see. Can't tell. Who watches The Watchmen? I don't know.
I mean, it's been out for a hot minute, so
Yeah.
2019, if you haven't seen it yet.
The book was okay too.
Oh, was it a series or just one book?
It was a 12-issue.
Oh, okay.
maxi series, but-
Cool.
It was all set on around the centennial or around the race massacre.
The original book.
The
Series, the series, the
Yeah.
TV series based around the race massacre. Yeah, well, that's that opening scene after they're showing the movie. I think that's when the massacre starts, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, that was.
I am so fucking glad that we stopped calling it the race riot. You remember how for years and years and years and years that's how it was.
There was a
referred
moment we had to switch.
It was in books, like in our books in high school. It was called that.
Yeah.
And
You're
like,
the only person I've heard say that they learned about it in high school.
really,
Yeah.
I don't remember if I did.
it was. I will say it was fucking glossed over in the book. But I had a cool teacher that was like, "We're going to talk about this because we live here and it fucking happened here."
It's one of those things that I've known for as long as I can remember, but I don't remember where I learned it. And in conversation here in Tulsa, we kind of went from like 0 to 100 in talking about it. Like it was very under the radar, and then finally we started talking about it, and then we just kind of wouldn't stop. And
I think people just refused to let people stop. I think that was the key.
Right, and then as more and more people learn about it, there's that wait, oh my god, what? And you
Yes.
immediately learn a lot.
It's almost like something that and I don't know if this is going to sound wrong, but I don't intend it to be. It's almost like something that you witnessed, you drove by and you were like, what was that thing I just witnessed?
Yes.
And you're like, holy smokes, we have to
Yeah.
go revisit this.
Yeah.
That was a real thing.
yeah.
And I'm not saying that insensitively, but I'm just trying to make that
Yeah, yeah,
analogy
like-
that we just,
I get it.
everybody just went by this thing that happened that needs to be acknowledged.
Well, it's so easy to history gets what you're talking about is kind of glossing over history, and we do that so easily because so much of history feels sepia toned and behind us and can't have any relation to today. And
Sepia is not the right word. I think it's white. Wrong tone. But yeah. I get it. I get what you mean.
That it's the past. It's gone. It's not touchable now. But when you really think about something like the race massacre and how it was, it's now like 103 years away since it happened or whatever. But we just had 100 years just the other year, and that's what 2.5 generations or something. Like that's your it's like your great grandparents. Some of us lived with people, were alive when people who were alive during it. You know, there are still 2 descendants who were babies
When it
here in
happened,
Tulsa.
yeah.
When in fact, the third just passed away last week.
That's right.
Last name Ellis. His first name escapes me. But they were many times were at legal events for trying to make reparations happen. They were at publicity events to try and help generate knowledge about the incident. And they were babies. It was 100 years ago, but they were there. You know, this isn't.
We're not centuries removed.
Exactly. This is the Roman Empire. This
Right.
isn't the fucking Pax Romana. You know, this is our great grandparents might have been involved, you know, and that's where that soul searching, that looking inward comes in to be like, you know, how can we be part of the solution to like make things better?
Yeah. They had already invented cars by then. So
Yeah.
like it wasn't that long ago.
I don't want to dictate where this is going, but
Please
just,
do.
But
Go
just
for it.
watching Killers of the Flower Moon, which shows in the film the opening scene. There's a couple scenes that show some of Tulsa, what was going on in Tulsa.
Really?
There's a couple times he pulls up the newspaper and it's talking about, you know,
Because that was the same
same
time.
time period.
Right around the same time. Okay.
And they called
21?
They called it the Era of Terror or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, where there was just like murder going on.
Yeah.
But a lot of similarities over there as well. It was just a culture in Oklahoma of take what you want. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
whose it is.
Well, and that's kind of, you know, when we even going back to, you know, the land run. I mean, that was the very basic idea. Go grab your plot, make your land. The idea of the homesteaders, and I'm just gonna, you know, through the sweat on my brow, make my life, and no one's gonna stop me.
Those aren't people there. Then never mind the ones that live there.
Oh yeah, no, that's mine now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know, manifest destiny and grace of God go white.
It was 21.
Was it 21?
Yeah, May 31st.
Yeah.
Incredible.
To June 1st.
I mean, for us to be able to have the opportunity to like to live and learn it, you know, help share that, pass down to the next generations, because it wasn't to us, not till now.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah. Well, and that's, you know,
I think we also got to get over the idea of bringing up history is somehow meant to make people now feel bad about the things that happened. You know what I mean? Like bringing up history is never meant to guilt anyone. It's just it's about making sure we don't repeat those mistakes.
Yeah.
It's not saying you fucking did it or you should feel bad because somebody else did.
yeah.
It's the dumbest idea I've ever heard.
Killers of the Flower Moon, the first. I'm not giving any. I'm not.
No, that's
ruining
okay.
anything here. The first 2 hours is excruciating. I mean, I couldn't. If I was, I couldn't. I don't know how Native people feel sitting in there watching there, because they have to be just traumatized over and just. You know,
Sure.
it's heavy. It's brutal.
Yeah.
And so that first 2 hours really is. I mean, it's tough, but it's the power of the film.
Right.
Is-
It's supposed to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's where you're getting, you know, you're learning that.
Yeah.
Hopefully, people are watching and learning. And
It's supposed to be uncomfortable. It's not meant to make you feel bad or
Yeah.
guilty. It's supposed to not feel good.
Yeah.
You know, it's supposed to not feel good that those things happened.
like you should not feel guilty. John, a movie watcher going
Right.
into there, should not feel guilty that he had anything to do with it. But a little bit of like guilt, like, oh my God, people.
I can't believe
We
human
can be
beings were
awful.
capable of doing that.
I'm okay with carrying a little bit of that. you know?
Absolutely.
my ancestors.
Yeah, you know, and just as a little bit of a means to remind us to be better when in a position of power and to be more humane just in a position of interacting with each
I
other.
like being Italian, but I can admit that Mussolini sucks ass.
Dude, we are 3 men in our 40s or
And a
so
little
sitting
lady?
around a table. Well, we hopefully told your kids to get out of the
She's in
podcast
the, yeah,
room.
she's not in here. She's not in here.
But we're dudes that were alive in the 80s when Porky's movies were popular. When it was like, oh, ha, 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 go peek in the girl's dressing room.
ugh.
You know, we've all said or done things as young men who nowadays would be like, that was not the way to act. You know?
90% of the jokes I made in the 80s and 90s, I would be fucking
Right.
mortified. mortified.
But it doesn't mean you now kill yourself. It just means be better and
Exactly.
learn and grow. I don't know why that's a problem.
do better jokes.
Yeah, do better jokes. Yeah.
I mean, that was my takeaway.
You
Be
know.
funnier.
That's like, and it doesn't mean that things all have to go away. You know, you could still watch a fucking Porky's movie, but just understand that behavior is not okay.
Yeah, if you're watching it with your kid, be like, hey, don't do that.
Yeah. Look at this dumb movie from 1985. You know?
Nice boobs, right? Hey, don't do that.
I don't know, man.
Anyways, do you want to talk about the second trailer we watched?
Eh.
Should we?
I mean, Anthony Mackie he's a very charming man.
Do you have a crush?
A little. Maybe.
Fair.
Maybe. On your left. I don't
Have
fucking
you
know.
watched any of the
the Twisted Metal? No. God, no.
But you love Anthony Mackie so much.
love him.
I tried to watch it.
But Anthony Mackie's your favorite actor. You tried to watch it, you said? Did you hate it?
I don't remember what was going on with it, but there was something that I was just like, oh.
That was one where I'm like, I want it.
Me too.
Like to be good, but
Just because you
also
love the video game.
yeah, but it's also like realistically, that's not a movie or a game that can be easily made into a film, let alone a series. Like,
It's such a weird idea for a series.
yeah, you're gonna stretch a series out of the game that was just kill the other cars with your car.
Yeah.
That was the game.
Was there a storyline in that?
No, not that I remember.
I mean, if there was, you didn't need to know it to play.
I was gonna say
You know?
if there was, it was like way later years, maybe like if they did, you know.
And let's be honest, it was probably just like the script to like The Running Man or Rollerball or some shit. It was just going to be like, it's the future. We now blow each other up with armed whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, 90 minutes
Scene.
tops. You get 90 minutes tops of that,
Yeah.
and then you call it a wrap, and we go,
what's the-
"Oh, that was great fun."
what's the word I'm looking for? Where the cities have all crumbled and everything is
Post-apocalyptic.
it's post-apocalyptic. Sure.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's just was it. I haven't seen the latest Mad Max movie. Wasn't that probably just a Twisted
Dystopian.
Metal movie?
Was it dystopian?
I
Is
saw-
that the word you were looking for?
I just in the Mad Max trailer, I remember big armored vehicles.
I can
Oh,
get
yeah.
into Mad Max though.
In the Twisted,
You what?
I can get into that movie.
you can get into that.
Yeah, the new ones.
Did you like any of the Mad?
Have I seen them? I don't even know if I've seen them.
Man, Mad
Anthony-
Max are fun movies.
I remember Tina Turner in one of them.
That was Beyond Thunderdome.
Yeah.
yeah.
We don't need another hero. That kind of thing.
We don't need another hero.
All right.
That song slaps.
It does slap.
That's
going
a
on the
good song.
playlist.
Were you into all of the Mad Maxes, the old ones, or just
Yeah, just the
they were
old
so
school.
fucking fun.
Yeah.
That's another one. That's like Rambo. That the first one's the Road Warrior, right?
Correct.
That doesn't become
and
Mad
then
Max till the
Mad
second
Max,
one.
and then Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
Yeah.
And then the new ones love too. They
Well, to
released
be
that.
fair, even in the Road Warrior, his name was Max, and he was pretty PO'd most of the movie.
And there's only been the one new one, right?
Yeah, but
Fury Road.
they released like a black and white chrome version that I've been wanting
yeah?
to show at Circle on the big screen.
Oh, cool.
You liked Fury Road, you said, yeah? I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was super fun. Yeah. They're not those movies that you're going to be like, this is an amazing film, but like it's a cool story, it's a cool world, and it's really fun to watch.
Although I am like a green, I'm in like the green movement. I thought that part was kind of weird. There was like a little political thing at the end. Do you remember that?
In the Fury
Like,
Road.
All right, I guess whatever. I'm supportive of this. This is helping the scene.
Yeah. There feels sometimes it feels like some of that's being a little bit too on the nose, and it's like
That did for sure.
it's like use metaphor. You know what I mean?
It's got to be tough when you're passionate about something, especially if it's kind of a relatively new movement or ideology, and you're in a creative industry to not put that stuff in. You know, like we share our politics sometimes on here as we get into new stuff we share. And I imagine if I was making a movie or writing an album, my politics, my philosophy would get in there as well. You know, I think you gotta.
It just made me think of Birdemic and the have you seen Birdemic? You know, it's like on the Room level of like, you know, it's like known as like one of the worst movies ever made. It definitely has some of the fucking most hilarious CGI I've ever seen. Birdemic,
One star.
shock and terror. there is a hilarious level of like lefty politics in this movie about killer birds. Basically, like the whole movie is like birds are trying to murder us because we did global warming.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, go back. That part where he celebrates. Okay, so watch this for a minute.
Big stock option, huh? Yeah, I earned it. All those big deals I did with NCT. And millions of dollars of revenues and
Okay,
sales.
so pause it. That scene where you saw this man in a rolling chair very slightly go back and go, woohoo, and lift his arms, and then that was it. That was after he made a multi-million-dollar sale, apparently. Yeah, this is one of those movies that like it's so hilariously bad. Like those edits, the audio of like that shot versus the other shot, or it's just so fucking funny.
Is it real though? 2010.
No, it's real.
They really try to make a good one.
It's definitely real. Riff Tracks has done it. How Did This Get Made has an episode about it with where Weird Al Yankovic was the guest. And they actually had, so on that How Did This Get Made, that's worth a listen because they actually had Whitney Moore, who is the lead actress. They actually had her on the podcast.
Oh, wow.
Talking about it. Yeah.
Man.
She auditioned in a high school parking lot, apparently.
The special effects of the bird floating.
It's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's so good.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Man.
There are scenes.
Have a sex scene.
There are scenes where the birds are like hovering.
Yeah.
Like just flapping like this.
Yeah,
Like a fucking screensaver. It's the funniest thing you'll ever see.
Do you guys remember the screensaver where the toasters with the wings would go across
That's
the screen?
exactly what it was. That's it. Look, there it is.
That's great.
That's
great.
Like a video game from computer PC video game.
You remember the era of like CGI movie video games?
Remember when like, do you remember a thing called, I think it was called like the Magic Eye or something? I remember
Oh, yeah.
this was the thing that would play at like Best Buy or wherever they sold TVs in like 89 or 90 or whatever, whenever like computer animation, not Magic Eye, was it?
Magic Eye was the books.
No, not that. I'm sorry. This was like when
the Mind's Eye.
the Mind's Eye was at it. It was like
Yep.
computer animation
And it would have
was
like music by like
brand new.
or Tangerine Dream.
See if you can find it.
Yep.
So this was a thing that I remember my first stepdad was like obsessed with. He thought it was like the coolest thing. This was like, there it is.
Yep.
So yeah, this was like when computer animation was like first invented, and people were like blown away, and this would like play on all the TVs. And people would be like, what? A computer made that statue run?
Yeah.
That's the level of computer animation we were talking about. And I was right. It was 90. I said 89 or 90. Fucking nailed it. I don't know why I'm so proud of that. It's dumb.
Here's some of the music.
Yes. This is Windows 1.
Where did it play?
Like every
Oh, like
TV
at
store,
Best Buys, they'd have it
I don't
playing
even know
on
if
all
Best
the
Buy
TVs.
existed back then.
No, it was like Circuit City.
Yeah, or
James
Venture.
Way. Yeah. I don't know.
Love it. Fuck
the-
yeah. That's
the-
my pick of the week. Just kidding.
The Anthony Mackie thing we watched was If You Were the Last, which is a movie about two friends or two coworkers trapped in space who decide to maybe have a relationship.
It seems like the entirety of the movie is them deciding on whether or not they should fuck.
Yeah.
They're like, we're already basically in love.
Oh, I get if you were
Should
the
we-
last. It's if you were the last person on Earth.
Yeah.
Only they're just the two people in space.
It's the hypothetical, I wouldn't fuck you if you were the last person on Earth.
Gotcha.
But now it's like, would you fuck me if I was the last person?
But it's Zoe Chow and Anthony Mackie, two just incredibly
people who should
good-looking
fuck. People who should fuck.
Yeah. I did have to look up.
Chuck's like, I'm not touching this.
I love when we get on a roll and sometimes the guests are just like, not looking.
No, that's fucking gross. I'm not talking about that. I knew Peacock was making series. I didn't know they were making movies.
Oh. I did have to double check that Zoe Chow is not the girl that directed Eternals.
Is it the same name?
Chow, but I think that's a common last name.
Hilton. No. No.
I don't know.
What shocks you about them making movies versus TV?
Just because, I mean, I didn't know they'd ventured out of, because, they're more, I thought they were more like series.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Because it's NBC, I guess, maybe that made me think that. So, yeah, you get the Peacock makes me think television.
And there's no theatrical yet. They're not releasing
Right,
theatrically, so
yeah.
they're just streaming movies for people that want to watch an hour and a half story, I guess.
Yeah, so it just surprised me. Like,
Because the series really are really just long movies.
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Now,
Especially, so, like The Boys and like, a lot of those, like
So
every episode's like a fucking movie.
90
big blockbuster.
All the Disney Plus stuff, all the Star Wars and Marvel
Yeah,
shows,
Loki
they're always
and-
6 episodes or 8.
I
They're
love
essentially
those,
just
too.
2 or 3 movies, Mm-hmm. Yeah. You guys been watching the new season of Loki?
Did you
I
highlight
watched-
this on purpose?
Yeah, dude. Sylvester Stallone's middle name is Gardenzio.
Hell yeah. Gardenzio. He's as about as Italian as you can fucking get.
Who fucking knew? That's a name. Also, that's his real name? Sylvester Stallone? I'm impressed.
I don't know. He might have locked his wiki and maybe it wasn't his real name. No, I
Good
think-
point. Maybe there's also July 6th, another July baby. Just like me in the Circle Cinema. Nice.
77.
77? Yeah, wow.
Was that when he was? No.
He was born
It's like, what do you-
he's 2 years older than me. A lot of people don't know. Sylvester Stallone's 46 years old. He's not
Tanning
looking
bed.
great for
Yeah.
46.
Tanning bed.
Does it talk about all
Too much
the?
time outside in L.A.
Does his wiki talk about how he tried to force the writer of Cobra to make him to put his name on the book?
Really?
Yeah, he was like,
I wrote the screenplay, so it's like I wrote the book, so this should be by me.
He wanted the guy that wrote the book of Cobra
the
to
book
put
that
his
the
name?
book that Cobra was based on.
Well,
Yeah.
So like it would be like Cobra, a novel by Bill Jones,
Well, basically,
later
I think-
adapted to a screenplay by Sylvester Stallone.
I think what really happened is like it was so he made something so far off from the book that he was like,
It's basically different now, so it's basically like I wrote the book now.
you know how Stallone hubris.
yeah.
I tried to look up the meaning of Gardenzio.
That means a garden, doesn't it? Gardener?
Who knows?
What season are they in? And are you keeping up with Tulsa King?
Yeah, no, I am. They only did the one season. I think
Oh.
they're shooting season 2 now.
Oh, so it's probably paused as well
yes.
with everything else.
Bummer.
Yeah, but no,
Bummer that they're doing it. Sorry.
Definitely one of those. It was not a dude. You take the Tulsa stuff out of it and just make it about like a mob guy stuck in like a smaller community.
No. I'm just kidding.
Fine, fuck it.
And they're not filming here anymore.
Yeah.
It's like Tulsa King filmed in wherever, probably
Yeah.
LA.
No,
Our dogs are being dicks out there.
the dick dogs. Yeah, no, that's extremely disappointing because the problem with it too is it would not be hard to set it here. There's
They already did once.
yeah, right.
It obviously worked.
They did use a cut. There are plenty of scenes that were shot from the first season in Tulsa.
Yeah, Becky got to see Stallone in person from her office.
Yeah, there's a couple of, especially downtown.
She was trying to walk to her car and they stopped her and they were like, "Don't walk right now because they're shooting and you'll be in the scene." And she punched him in the nuts and walked by.
That's that one scene
where you saw her walk
where
by.
he's trying to go to the bank, and then
And
that
she
lady
did
just punches a dude in the nuts.
Yeah, and then she does the bed bug walk.
Oh, like so smug, man.
Self assured.
Yeah,
Anyways,
but Gardenzio can fuck off.
right off.
And,
We loved Rocky and Cobra though.
yeah,
Did you ever see Cobra?
Yeah. I don't remember. I'd have to probably watch a little
It's a
bit
weird
more.
one.
Oh, yeah.
It's a fun one.
it's not over the top.
No, it's no over the top. That's for goddamn
I know it's
sure.
got a cool poster.
What
The
does?
poster's burned in my head.
Oh, Cobra? Yeah, it was cool as fuck. That's what made me watch it, though. It's like, yeah, a lot of the times you would have this badass poster, and then you'd see the movie, and you'd be like, God, that movie sucked. Wow, how was the poster so cool? We spent all of our movie budget on a cool poster. Now we got to make a shitty movie. Oh, you're trying to find Cobra? It's probably like 86. Fucking nailed it.
Wow. Yeah, that is a great poster.
Look at that.
Crime is a disease.
And I'm the cure.
There you go.
The whole intro is Stallone breathe talking like,
There's a crime committed every 35 seconds in L.A., a rape every 24 seconds, a murder.
that's
think it's
literally
exactly
the intro.
that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's him giving you crime stats.
All right.
And how many movies have started like that? It's like,
Just the one. They were like, don't do that again. People hated it.
Where is his film? Let's find out what Schwarzenegger released in '86. Raw Deal.
Raw Deal.
they
Oh
almost look exactly the same.
They look so much similar.
Of course they do.
Oh, wait, where'd it go? Where'd I put you?
Oh no, too many tabs.
Right. Where's Raw Deal?
That's funny.
There it is.
Black
Wow.
and red.
That is
Little
scary.
He's in a
Piece of
white
steel.
tank top. I'm in a black long sleeve.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Man.
That's a great doc on Netflix, by the way.
Which
It's
one?
Yeah.
3-part, the Arnold.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's like his first part is his weightlifting.
Okay.
Talks a little bit about that. Then it goes into his
Movies.
filmmaking career, and then into the politics.
Okay.
So yeah, it's really cool.
They did on How Did This Get Made? They did a Hercules in New York episode, and one of my favorite things that they did was they found a clip of originally they had dubbed Schwarzenegger's voice because his accent was so thick that they were like, people are not going to understand a word he says, which they were kind of right, and so they had dubbed it. And they played a clip of the dubbed version, and it was just such a like. It sounded like a Clash of the Titans, like. And I am the king of the, I am a Greek god, and this is the voice of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Wow.
It was really funny.
Reminds me of Clayface on the Harley Quinn show on Max.
Oh yeah, that's essentially what it was. Yeah.
You ever watch that, the Harley Quinn on Max? It's fun because they've got Clayface as like an over the top wannabe actor, and it's very, if you get a chance, watch it. But you want to know why I brought this up?
I just want to read what the title is for the listeners.
Let me explain. So this is
Don't explain first. Let me read the title out of context and then explain.
No, I think I should explain first.
Okay, fine.
This is a scene from the documentary of the band Fish called Bittersweet Motel. Came out, probably late 90s, early 2000s, right around there. And it is a scene involving members of the band talking about the feeling of being on stage.
And it is entitled Trey Anastasio and Paige McConnell Pumping Iron and Coming All Day.
But I'll hit play.
Okay.
Like that thing, Pumping Iron, when Arnold's talking about working out. He's like, every time I get to that last set, it's like I'm coming. And then girls see my muscles and I'm coming all night. And it's like all day long I'm coming.
Did he say that in
And that's
Pumping
kinda how I
Iron?
feel,
I need to rewatch Pumping Iron.
Right? Yeah.
I think it shows that clip in that doc. I think I remember seeing that.
Oh,
Oh, that's so funny.
Showing this clip? Or
No.
the clip
They
of
show
Pumping
the
Iron?
clip
Oh,
of
that's
Pumping
great.
Iron. It's
They do show it. I remember it. It's weird because I remember being like, oh,
Right? It would be kind of cool, though.
jizzing all over them. All the women in the audience take my muscle jizz all over their tits and face.
But what if we go one further? What if Arnold talks about Trey and Paige from Fish? And then they're talking on the
And they're
balcony
just
about becoming.
and they're
it's like I'm
masturbating
coming.
their guitars for hours and hours, and they're just fucking noodling. It's just noodling and noodling all day long. A bunch of fucking guys.
Damn.
It's like you're watching band practice.
I'm watching Fish and then I'm coming.
meta.
Oh, man. That's good stuff.
We think so.
Should we pick it and plug it?
We should definitely pick it and plug it. Oh, man, ladies and gentlemen, we just had a great Starlight Comedy Night 2 nights ago, so I have no idea who's on the lineup for the next one. So let's just push the other podcasts. Tune in to my other podcast, the People Person Paper Podcast, where we're going episode by episode through every episode of the hit NBC sitcom The Office, me and Brian Sittler, and our guests, including Mr. Michael Zampino, and our favorite guest, Mr. Josh Boltz, coming back again and again to talk about the show. We are deep in season 6. We're about to get the takeover of Sabre. So if you want to see the addition of Zach Woods to the show, as well as a
Sabre.
fun guest turn from Kathy Bates, stay tuned to the People Person Paper Podcast, and we'll get you covered on that.
She was fun as that character.
As Joe Bennett. Joe Bennett. Yeah. Gabe, you're too fat. I have a pick. Man, go back and watch Reservation Dogs again.
Perfect.
I've been wanting to do it. I think I'm just going to start season 1 again real soon. You talked about Lane Factor as Cheese. The solo Cheese episodes are some of my favorite on that show. For little things like the way the character, he's the only character who the entire show he's giving his pronouns. No one ever asks, no one ever challenges on him except for like there's a couple of like little like side eyes or whatever, and he's undeterred from that. And I love that about the character of Cheese on how he just kind of knew who he was, knew what he believed, and was kind of stalwart in that. He never really changed from what others wanted of him. I mean, he was a kid and he was learning and growing, but I don't know, man. I want to be as sure of myself as Cheese was as sure of himself.
Be like Cheese.
And knowing that it's based on a real person and someone, you said you knew this kid growing up, huh?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I'm pretty sure it's based on him. I mean, his nickname was Cheese. He was hilarious. I just think I can see some of the similarities with the character with
Did you grow up around Starland?
We went to high school together.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Where at?
Holdenville.
Holdenville.
Pretty close to where they filmed in, I think they filmed in Okmulgee.
Okmulgee, yeah, I believe that's correct.
Pretty close to there. Probably same small town kind of world.
And
no money.
Yeah. Circle was such a good friend to that show. Just the entire run. I remember when it first launched, you guys had a premiere. You guys were doing the episodes over the summer before season 3 came out.
Yeah, we did a red carpet the first night during the pandemic, which was crazy. Doing a big event. During the pandemic.
Yeah.
But the
pandemic.
Right.
The distribution company. So Disney came in, FX came in, and they shut down the street. The entire street was huge green carpet for some reason. They want a green carpet.
Okay.
All the way down the street. So the whole strip of buildings was press. And every spot was full. I mean, it was like a legit red carpet.
How cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
And then we did in the back, we had like 4 big, huge tents and had Micah Wesley, which is he's an artist DJ. He was back there spinning records and had Bradley James, native chef, back there making food. And it was just like a big party. It was cool.
That's awesome.
And I think people just it was one of those times when people just needed to like get together.
Yeah.
So it was outside, so still responsible.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Every time I see that show, I'm like, God, I want some fucking fry bread.
Oh, I know, right?
So good.
Man.
That shit is so good. Yeah. I had a native neighbor when I was a kid, and their daughter was like a year younger than me or something, close enough to where like we hung out and we played and stuff. And I went over there and I had dinner, and the first time they gave me a fucking fry bread taco, my little brain exploded.
Well, and just
I was like, give me this all the time. This is amazing.
Well, and just and not even just the food, which always, I mean, that's another thing. Reservation Dogs is like a Ghibli movie where just all the food always looked great, but also just like the sense of like the entire town coming together to make food, and like the kitchen is just packed with all the women from the neighborhood. I'm just like, I miss like growing up where my family would have big get-togethers like that. That
stuff's all real too, and in like churches, you go to like. It's almost every time people get together, it's there's a loving moment or death,
yeah,
and everybody's coming together. I helped Sterling with a death in his family, and at the same time, people are sharing stories, laughing, coming together, eating, and it's the same thing they do in all of with my experience with all of those things all together. It's like this like communal thing, coming to this church to celebrate each other, remember that person, or support this next person with food and love and funny stories. Man, those are like those memories down there. Some of the people down there, the most funny, cool people ever, and they just stay down in Holdenville.
Yeah, and
it's cool. That culture is like it's in a time capsule in a way.
Yeah, well, and it just goes to show how much there's always a lot of pressure on like, do this, do that, get out, go on, make your name in the world, go, go, go. But communities need people to stick around and help build the community too.
Yeah.
I went to high school. I moved around a lot when I was a kid, but I went to high school here in Tulsa, at Jenks High School. Go Trojans! And living in Tulsa now, sometimes I wonder, like, should I have gone to wherever? But no. Your path doesn't have to go. Your path just has to go wherever you think you need to go.
Yeah,
that might be to Tulsa, to LA, to Germany, to Holdenville. And there's none of those are better or worse than the other.
I've always wanted to be a performer my entire life. I've wanted, when I was a kid, I wanted nothing more than be a rock star, right? And by high school, when I was like learning instruments and like trying to be in a band and stuff, even then I would hear like, you got to go to New York or LA.
Sure.
You got to go to New York or LA. The second I started doing stand up, you got to go to New York or LA. You got to go to New York or LA. Podcasting, you got to go to New York or LA. Fuck that. I don't have to. Especially podcasting. You can do that any fucking where.
There's a lot of those themes are with the film as well. Staying in your community or going to California.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Sterling's career. Like, he actually has brought and showcased what we can do in Oklahoma and why it's important to tell those stories here and to make those films here.
And those were often shot here too.
Yeah.
Like Reservation Dogs wasn't pretending that Tulsa was somewhere else. When there's one of the very last episodes is set partially in Tulsa, and it's at Tim's Diner, 2 miles down the road from here. There's a scene, I'm watching two characters interacting, and I go, "Hey, Mom, remember when we were sitting in the back corner of that room?"
That's always fun.
Yeah, Umberto's Pizza is in that same episode.
That's
I
good
freaking
shit.
love Umberto's Pizza.
Umberto's rules.
And you better know that the next time I go there, I'm sitting at that damn table.
Hell yeah. Yeah, if you're in the Tulsa area, go get an Umberto slice one day. That's good shit.
And then watch some Reservation Dogs.
They do a good calzone and stromboli too.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Chuck, any plugs? Anything you want to specifically tell people to look out for?
Man, there's just a lot of stuff coming up. Working on a lot of stuff for November, December. All of the Oscar films start coming out. So, man, there's a lot of stuff.
That's tough. I was just thinking about it. A plug for you must be or a specific one anyway would be really tough, just because what you do covers every different genre and demographic, and so it'd be really hard to pick like two movies and be like, I'm going to plug these.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Killers of the Flower Moon now is
a good one for sure.
It's a story that it's a film everybody needs to see. And with the strike, it's kind of like, I think a lot of these films are not like an independent film, like let's say Parasite. If those people weren't out there pushing that, the director wasn't out there pushing that film might have just sat dead and no one talked about it. You know what I mean? Even though that was a big word of mouth film, but there's other indie films coming up by even Neon Pictures, like Priscilla coming up.
Yeah, we saw the trailer for that too.
Yeah, that was awesome.
We also just watched the trailer for The Iron Claw. Are you guys going to screen that one?
Yeah, A24, Fox Searchlight, Neon Pictures, Sony Picture Classics. Almost take anything they have.
Yeah,
nice.
I try
Iron
to
Claw
watch it
looks
all.
good.
Yeah, but yeah, so a lot of that stuff I have trust in it. It's almost like how sometimes people just trust what we do.
Yeah, that's fair.
I trust what they do. I do investigate and see what the movies are all about.
Fair.
Because I've had to stop or not show things. A lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff coming up. A lot of indies that aren't going to get mentioned. So
safest thing is just go to circlecinema.org and just look at all the upcoming dates and events and see what tickles you. I would definitely say look out for Dustin's live event. What's that going to be called?
I think we're calling it a science fiction spectacle.
Oh, that's right. Then that's going to be in late December.
That one's coming up real quick. That one's, I think, maybe Thursday, which I'm terrible. I should know all those things. And then in December 21st is when we do Foxen.
That's the one I was thinking of. Okay, because that's the one he asked me if he could jump on the show before. So that's cool. We'll be able to get a little plug in for both of those. So this coming week, hopefully, is the... we're looking. Yeah, it's fine. But you'll find it. But yeah, go to both of those. So there'll be one coming up very soon, and then one in December 21st, and we'll have Dustin on before that. So, yeah, just follow circlecinema.org. Follow Circle Cinema on Facebook and the socials.
Got a pick this week as well?
A pick. There's some of these films that are coming from Toronto. I'm pretty excited about. Holdovers is going to be a big one. If and when I get to Sleep, that was a Korean film by a first-time filmmaker that I loved, a horror film that I loved in Toronto.
Okay.
But it's a little indie thrill horror film that it's good.
That sounds spooky.
So yeah, keep an eye out for that one.
Speaking of horrors, did you see Skinamarink?
Skinamarink. We showed it.
Did you? Okay, that's one where I saw the
was real
trailer and I
creepy,
was
yeah.
like, I love scary movies, but that's one where I was like, that looks very scary.
Yeah.
That one, for some reason, it was something about the way they did the trailer that I was like, this is one that I think would scare the shit out of me.
And you guys had that one that's
I love scary
Slaughterhouse.
Yeah, Slaughterhouse.
I've heard great things about that.
Yeah.
Which is streaming now.
Nice.
You can catch that one streaming.
Yeah, that's one I think we saw. Was it Jacob Ide was hosting that? Someone?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I will say the one that I'll want to know if you get to screen is the Cedric and Omar documentary about the guys from At the Drive-In and Mars Volta. So they have a documentary that I believe is debuting. It's debuting at a festival this month. It's going to be called "If This Gets Weird."
Yeah.
If this ever gets weird. That'll be one that if you get the chance to screen that, I'm definitely coming to that because I really super want to see that movie.
Nice.
Yeah, those guys are incredibly interesting people. Their music is insane and weird and amazing, and I love it.
In general, a lot of people think that I am like plugged in with everything.
Oh, sure.
I learn from so many people. And
Nice.
I'm like, you have to be humble at the job and not have an ego with it at all.
Oh,
'cause
that's
it's like,
great.
You don't know. It's like everything. You don't
Yeah.
know shit.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I thought I knew cannabis until I started in the industry.
So if someone knows of an independent film, a small picture that you may not be on your radar, it's okay to contact Circle Cinema and let you know.
100%. I learned a ton from people. Our members give us a lot. Our front of house staff is just, these guys are like, they know about way more. They almost know about film way more than me. It's like, you just got to surround yourself with these people that like,
love it and know it.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that.
It just flows.
Well, you're
in.
welcome. You can find this one.
That's right. Thank you.
And real quick, we won't go too deep into it. You mentioned members. You've got like a member program up there to where you can help support the theater and kind of get some little perks along the way, right?
Yeah, right now, I mean, it's almost like if you're a movie fan, just become a member because there's free popcorn. I think if you watch 6 movies, it pays it back in the savings of ticket sales because you get a $3 off savings.
Nice.
It's just, I mean, if you love film, it really pays, and you get free popcorn every time you come in. It's amazing.
And then, of course, your movie isn't your money isn't going to some chain that has got thousands of theaters around the world. It's going to a locally run and maintained theater right here in Tulsa.
Yeah,
that's
fuck AMC.
right about to save. I mean, listen, we all go to the big theater sometimes.
Look,
but
I say it for funsies, okay? Just be mad with me.
I was getting there.
I'm kidding.
I was getting there. We all go to the big theater sometimes. But you're right. Fuck AMC.
Yeah! Suck it, Cinemark. Let's see.
you?
Oh, me! You can come see me live at the Heirloom Rustic Ales for Brett Jeffries' Riff Show, November 4th. Come see me for that. That's going to be fun.
One of the best shows in Tulsa.
It's a really fun time just because you get to be very, very silly and you don't have to rely on all your written material. You get to really just goof around. And as far as picks...
Got a pick?
I actually had a couple. Music pick. I just recently rewatched all the old Jackass movies.
Oh, wow.
And been listening to some CKY, which of course Bam Margera's brother is the drummer of that band. CKY stands for Can't Kill Yourself.
Uh-huh.
Fun. Infiltrate, Destroy, and Rebuild was the album that I was digging on, if you like that type of shit. Also, just rewatched it. It's October. I'm watching a bunch of scary movies and movies that are just sort of in the genre, like some of the comedy. Rewatched Munchies. But I rewatched The Monster Squad.
Oh,
Did you
wow.
ever see that one?
Yeah.
That was when I was a kid. I was obsessed with that fucking movie. I could not get enough of it. And I was rewatching it as an adult, and I was like, man, it was another one that fell into the category of like having so much adult content in a kid's movie. But the standout of that movie, rewatching it as an adult, was the little girl who played Phoebe. Rewatching it, that is one of the best performances by a child that young that I've ever seen. She's so fucking naturally good in that movie that I was just like, holy shit, who is this kid? And I looked it up, and she did continue to work, and I think might even still be working. But yeah, it was one of those things that, you know, you rewatch as an adult and you take away different things, and I was like, damn, that little kid's fucking good. And then the last one, as I just watched, it's called Rudy, a docu-musical. And it's about Rudy Giuliani, and it's fucking incredible. It is part documentary, part musical, and I really hope that there's an actual full-length musical that they did that is playing and will hopefully tour someday, because I would pay a lot of money to go see the Rudy Giuliani musical. It's really funny to watch, to go back and look at Giuliani's life and think about how he had such a good reputation for not even a year, basically like a 6-month period where he did a good job, and everybody was like, America's mayor, we fucking love Rudy Giuliani. But he was a piece of shit before 9/11, and he was a piece of shit after 9/11, and that's the biggest takeaway.
Wow, that is crazy though to think about that. You're kind of reminding me of that. I forgot.
Yeah, he was
after
an
9/11.
absolute piece of shit. The David Dinkins shit that happened, he basically started a fucking riot with the cops.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Anyways, watch that. It's very fun the way they did it, though. The combination of documentary and musical was really, really interesting.
And where can you see that?
That I watched on, I want to say, let me look it up. I want it because
While you're looking that up, you also mentioned the 3-part Arnold documentary, and that's on Netflix, right?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
That
Netflix.
sounds good.
Yeah.
I especially want to see him talking about pumping iron.
I mean, the part of you just really kind of fall back in love with the dude, or I did. I was like, damn, this dude's passionate about his stuff.
Man, anytime
Amazon
I hear,
Prime.
Amazon Prime for the documentary.
yes,
Yeah.
for the Rudy
Rudy Giuliani, thank you. Yeah, Arnold, whenever he talks, you get reminded that whatever he's not a perfect guy, of course. You know, he's made plenty of mistakes, but he's got a
The maid.
passion and an ethic that is inspiring.
Maybe not every ethic.
Not every ethic.
He was a Republican.
He was okay. Well,
The thing that's good about him is being a Republican from California.
Well, he was
where
one.
He
was one of the classic Republicans where like their biggest disagreements was just fiscal shit. Like you know, they just wanted to cut spending on everything. Like I miss those Republicans. Remember when that was the Republican Party when they were just wanting to fucking cut everything?
they never. Loved
I mean,
us
there's still
gays.
that, but
They never loved us gays.
that's true. That's very
But
true.
aside from that,
They weren't as gnarly as they are now.
exactly. Oh man, Chuck, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
That's
thanks
fun.
for coming back. We'll definitely have you back. Maybe we'll have you and Dustin come or something like that. But
Okay.
we'll definitely and keep us updated the next time you have a room screening, because we definitely want to go back to that.
Yeah.
And hopefully I will as early as possible block out my schedule so that I don't have a fucking show.
Yeah.
Because I want to go again. That was so much
a lot of
fun.
fun.
So much fun.
Dude, everything I've seen there, whether it's been gone just for blockbusters, gone for independence, gone for Rocky Horror, it's always a good time, and it's always a reminder of why you gotta get off your beaten path.
That's what I need to do. I haven't done Rocky Horror there. I need to do that too.
Yeah.
Do you do that every year?
Yeah, end of the year, or beginning of the year. So this year, since it's on Sunday night, I think we're doing 3 nights.
Oh,
And then
sweet. Okay.
and then New Year's night is when we there's like 15 minutes after the film's over that you can flip on the TV and watch the ball drop. So we do that every year.
Oh, nice.
On
cool.
New Year's.
That's a great one.
That would be really fun. Hell yeah.
And that's just enough time to grab a cigarette before the ball drop, too.
Yeah, if you've never done like a Rocky Horror or The Room with like an audience participation type screening, it's a really fun time.
Yeah.
Really fun. Chuck, thanks again. Don't forget circlecinema.org.
Yep.
Follow
Facebook
the
page, too.
Yep. Follow him. Follow us. Follow OLA Ministries. And Hilton Price.
Guten Tag.
Wunderbar.
I don't know how to say goodbye in German.
Later.
Take it from me.
Later, Hosen.
I love you.